How's it going out there, everyone? W.F.S, your doctor here today. And I actually am quite surprised with the information that I am about to share with you. It really blows my mind that this information just dropped. You're gonna freak out when you hear it. Okay, all of us know that Chekov was not in Space Seed, yet for some reason in The Wrath of Khan, they want you to believe that he was. He was off screen somewhere on the ship, and him and Khan had an encounter, and Khan was able to remember him 15 years later because Khan never forgets a face. Well, it seems that comicbook.com has decided to chime in on the issue. Star Trek just ended its #1 chance to fix a 43-year-old plot hole for good. Really? You're gonna love this. You really are. One of the strangest continuity quirks in Star Trek stems from a single line from one of the franchise's most infamous villains, Khan Noonien Singh in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. The genetically augmented Superman caused debate among fans as to his prior connection with Ensign Pavel Chekov. Ricardo Montalban's fan-favorite villain recognizes Chekov immediately and ominously warns that he never forgets a face. While clearly meant as a reference to the events of the original series episode Space Seed, Khan's introduction, Chekov wasn't seen until Season 2, a year after Khan was exiled. The discrepancy has become one of the franchise's longest-running nitpicks and plot holes that fans have long hoped would eventually be addressed. Okay, it's an issue, and it's a problem that a lot of fans have had because it just doesn't make sense. But at the same time, it really doesn't hurt the plot at all of The Wrath of Khan. It was still a great movie, and that minor continuity error just doesn't bother me one bit. I can accept the fact that maybe Chekov was off on the side somewhere and Khan interacted with him off screen. I can believe that. I can see that happening. Well, comicbook.com seems to think that Strange New Worlds has missed an incredible opportunity to repair this 43-year-old damage. And it's just like, why? How? How could you do that? They honestly think that Chekov should have been introduced into Strange New Worlds. But even if you were to do that, even if you were to introduce Chekov into Strange New Worlds, it still wouldn't change the fact that Space Seed did not have Chekov in it, so Khan would not have interacted with him on screen. But now here comes the part that I promised you before would blow your mind. Strange New Worlds skips Chekov for continuity. Do you believe that? The showrunners for Strange New Worlds have decided that Chekov should not be in Strange New Worlds because it doesn't work with the canon. He would have been a teenager about the times that Strange New Worlds took place, so they said they can't do that. Am I missing something here? Star Trek Strange New Worlds actually gives a care about historical canon in Star Trek? Showrunners Akiva Goldsman and Henry Alonzo Meyer reasoning is simple. Canon places Chekov's birth at 2245, which means he would have been a teenager during the events of Strange New Worlds, too young to even be at the academy. It absolutely is amazing to me that these people really care about Chekov's history while not even giving a care about Khan's history as an example. They rewrote the history of Khan because a nuclear war didn't happen in the real world in the 1990s, so the continuity wasn't flowing properly. So they decided to introduce a Romulan time travel twist to the whole story and push Khan's birth up to the 21st century. They can change that history, but for some reason they left Chekov alone because he was too young. Really? As I just said, they altered the history there. So it just doesn't make sense, but I'm happy for it anyway. By introducing Chekov in Strange New Worlds, even in a background role as a cadet or junior officer, the series could have easily justified Khan's recognition, a young Chekov quietly serving somewhere on the ship. So you're basically telling me that Strange New Worlds can pull this off, but you not accepting the idea that that could have happened in Space Seed is a issue. You can accept them rewriting Chekov's history just so they can satisfy your 43-year-old problem with Khan and Space Seed. I'm sorry, no, I can accept the fact right off the bat, as I said before, that he was a character off screen that Khan interacted with him, which is basically what you're trying to say here. But you just want to put some more continuity to the character when there was none needed. For some reason, comicbook.com, CBR, Screen Rant, they look to Strange New Worlds to repair Star Trek history. The problem is, the history doesn't need to be repaired. What actually does need to be repaired, though, is Strange New Worlds. Everything that they've done has damaged Star Trek. So many people have walked away from it. And now they've got Star Trek Year 1 coming out and Starfleet Academy. Both of these are going to be a problem if they do not stop damaging the history. Nobody wants to watch Academy because it's a spin-off of Star Trek Discovery. No one is going to want to watch the new Star Trek Year 1, the beginnings of Captain Kirk and crew on the Enterprise, because everybody's already seen the original series, which they claim, again, Strange New Worlds is supposed to be leading up to. It's not leading up to the original series. It's leading up to rewriting that series, which is wrong. If you told me at the beginning that Strange New Worlds was going to start a spin-off into another version of Kirk and crew's adventures, I could accept that. But telling me that this is going to be leading up to the original series and then taking these characters and rewriting them, damaging their history, that bothers me. And for the guys over there at comicbook.com to cry, oh, they missed the opportunity to fix the problems with Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. There was no problems as far as I was concerned. And I would like to know, do you think this is a problem? So please, drop those comments below and let me know what you think about this Chekov issue. Until the next time, my friends, God bless.